more waiting for 10 minutes. We're going to do this quickly here. Just saw recently that Croatia is going to open up for American travelers. And I had to research that and find out if I was hearing correctly. And lo and behold, it does seem to be the case that Croatians are going to open up for us to travel to. Are you willing to go traveling right now? Glasses are dirty, so I better clean those so I can see what I'm about to talk about. I've had this discussion on other couple of different live streams where we're talking about whether traveling is a good idea or not. And I know for us it isn't, but maybe for you it will be. So let's see here what the news is saying. So officials in Croatia are acknowledging, confirming that Americans will be allowed to visit Croatia, provided they can provide proof that they've had a negative coronavirus test, or if they're willing to go into quarantine. Now, obviously, going into quarantine when you're taking a trip or visiting someplace is not exactly what we are considering to be a good time. And particularly if you're somebody who doesn't have that much time, and if the quarantine is like 14 days as it is in many places, that would just be a real bummer. So let's see what this article, I finally found an article that confirmed it, and let's see what it says here. Now, we all know, and I did a live stream of this a while back, that in late June, European Union leaders announced that when they opened up their borders on July 1st, that U.S. travelers were not going to be allowed in. And hey, I totally support them on that. It makes no sense to let citizens or people residing in the United States to travel there, given the insanity that we have here. All the people who are still claiming that it's a hoax, it's perpetrated on us by Democrats, and that all the medical experts are liars, and it just boggles the mind. But this isn't a video about that. So U.S. travelers or U.S. citizens or residents are not going to be able to travel to Europe. And apparently that wasn't a legally binding decision, so it's kind of some deviances in there. I'm not sure about that. And while Croatia is a member of the European Union, is not part of the border-free Schengen area, meaning that travelers cannot cross Croatia's borders into any other European countries without being subjected to border controls. That means that travelers who enter into Croatia will not be able to easily or automatically enter other European countries. That's an interesting, I didn't realize that they weren't part of the Schengen area. But there's, like everything, there's got to be a catch somewhere, and this could be part of it. Getting there, okay, cool. But if you're coming back, what's the deal? So because the Schengen area people are restricted from coming to the States, that does present a problem. If you're coming back into the States, you're going to have to be quarantined or quarantine yourself for 14 days after your arrival. So there's always some kind of little catch, which I suppose wouldn't be the worst thing, because when we come back, we often are so jet lagged that we end up staying for a week in bed, it seems like. Okay, I'm exaggerating. So, what are the requirements for traveling to Croatia? Travelers from the U.S., as tourists, business, or students, they can do so freely as long as they provide evidence of a negative uh, PCR diagnostic test, also known as a nasal swab. And you have to have had that test within 48 hours of arriving at the Croatian border. Otherwise, there's a mandatory 14 days of self-isolation at the traveler's own expense, which can be shortened to 1 week for travelers who take a COVID-19 test within 7 days after entering into Croatia and who receive a negative test result. And the cost is about $230 to do that. And so, man, the things that we have to think about now. Now, how do you get to Croatia? Because as far as I know, there are no, and it says that here, there are no direct flights to Croatia, but there are connecting flights through major European hubs, including Frankfurt, Paris, Amsterdam, London, Vienna, Warsaw, Zurich, Berlin, and Oslo. So, even though we're banned from going to European Union countries, the Schengen area, we are allowed to fly into any of those into those airports as a transit passenger. So you can go and get to Croatia that way. And that leads to the next question: what's open, and what what is it safe there? Restaurants and bars have reopened for outdoor seating. Public facilities, beaches, swimming pools are open with social distancing protocols in place. Boy, okay, it's great news that they're allowing us in, but do I really want to go there? I'm not thinking so. And I just realized that I didn't set up my mic, so I hope this is working out there. I hope that you're getting a signal. Well, there's a short look at the whole news about traveling to Croatia. I'd just be curious what your thoughts are about traveling in general now, and is this something that you would want to do? I know that we have made the decision that we're not going to do anything for at least a year, and it just seems better to be safe than to be sorry. I mean, yes, I want to go, I want to do things, but it seems irrational to me to rush things. Here in the States, we have people who, as I mentioned at the outset, who are in total denial, don't believe that this is a real thing, and that it's little more than a cold. I don't know how they rationalize all the deaths. At this point, it's projected that by October we're going to have close to 250,000 deaths here, and I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. So there I go, off on that again. All right, thank you for taking the time to watch. Do appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, subscribe, click the like button, share, leave a comment. Thank you.